questions. My friend from NTA and Fred, the questions are the same. What is the time frame? Okay, let me explain this. Like I said, we are already in all the definitions of the bank. We are looking at the records, and you know the guarantee is per depositor, which means if you have 3 accounts, say savings, current, maybe domiciliary or term, what we are going to do is we are going to merge all the 3 accounts because you are one person. Because the coverage, the guarantee is per depositor in a bank. So we are going to do that, after which we now determine the amount that, okay, this is what you are going to pay, whether it is up to 5 million or below, based on what is there. And that's exactly what we are doing now. We are looking at the record to make sure that, look, all the depositors that there could be some depositors that are also debtors to the bank. So we need to set up. So that process is going now, but I want to assure you that payment of this insured amount is going to kick in very soon. Within this week, we should start. I don't want to say in the next few hours or tomorrow, but I assure you within this week, we are going to let it down. Actually, the process is laborious, is highly intense, and probably that is why the Act contemplated that we should pay within 30 days. But we are going to pay within 1 week, less than 1 week. That is for the insured deposits. For the uninsured, it will be difficult for me to give a time frame. And let me explain why I say so. Yes, they have structures, buildings. We need to advertise, to get bidders, you understand, to determine the winner, and then get the payment. I can't give a time frame for this because it's a function of, we are making offer. Somebody now needs to accept that offer and say, I want to buy. If you look at the loans and advances, they were granted to various customers. We also have them. And what we are trying to do is to make sure that, we capture everything. I cannot also give a time frame and say we are going to finish this thing in 1 month. But the difference that I want to emphasize is that if you look at historically, actually the recovery rate was very low, no doubt about that. And it was one of the challenges that we admitted that we encountered. The recovery rate was very low. But this time around, like I said, if you look at the NDIC Act of 2023, it has given additional powers to the corporation within the ecospace of recovery. And I'm optimistic that it's going to be different because we are going to go after it. I don't want to start saying we are going to do X, Y, because like letting the cat out of the horse. The most important thing is to recover them as quickly as possible. And we are going to leverage on those powers that were given to us under the Act to do that. Somebody was asking, Ima was asking the figures correctly. Like I said, we have just taken over. The deposit, I say, is around 650 billion. It may go up because there could be other deposits, you understand, that were not properly captured. So this initial process is going to bring out those to say, there were also additional deposits not properly classified. So it's difficult to say this is the exact deposit. But I can tell you that as at the point we entered, it is somewhere around 650 billion. The same thing applies to the loans. You understand? We have a figure. That's why I said the figure we have is in the region of beyond 700 billion. But there could be other loans that we may discover. You understand? So when we discover those things, we are going to update. So it's also difficult to say this is the exact amount. I can only disclose that when our examiners finish the closing exercise, which we hope to be rounded up by next week. In terms of payment, I assure you that payment is going to start this week. There are about 2.3 million depositors in Heritage Bank. 99.9%, their balance is less than 5 million. Only about 4,000 depositors have more than 5 million and above. So we are going to take care of all of them. We pay them the insured amount, then the uninsured portion, immediately we start recovering, we are going to pay them. We are also using this medium to also call on the creditors of the bank to come forward and also file their claim. Because immediately we finish with depositors, the next set of claimants that we are going to face are the creditors, so that we also settle them accordingly. I hope I've answered the question. Thank you. Yes, you are asking about the insider loans. I don't want to start going into details about that. Yes, that we're going to make no, I don't think, I'm struggling to understand the significance of disclosing that. Whatever is, whether it's inside or not inside, we have a duty to make sure that we cover it and pay the depositor. That is what is important. And that's why I've been stressing on that we need to move as quickly as possible, and we are doing that. Like I assure you, the payment is going to come in this week for the insured amount. All those 2.something million, we make sure that we pay them, and then start the process of realizing the assets so that we can pay the liquidation dividend to the uninsured depositor and eventually to the creditors. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The person from NDIC is asking what happens to the staff of the bank. Well, the bank is in liquidation. Unfortunately, they are no longer in any employment. But while we are there are some key staff that we need to help us, you understand, gather information. Those staffs, while we are doing the exercise, we are going to retain them and pay them, you understand, appropriately. But of course, others, that is the sad aspect, because the bank is already in liquidation, so they have lost their job. Somebody is asking what is the insured deposits and uninsured. Okay, insured deposits are deposits that have been designated as insured. It could be savings, term, domiciliary, or term deposits. But among these deposits, there are some that are not insured. For instance, the deposit of staff and management of the bank are not insured. And the simple reason is that if you insure their deposit, you are indirectly encouraging moral hazard, because they can go on to take undue risk, because they know that somebody is there, you understand, to bear the consequences. So that is why the deposit of staff of the bank are not insured. So also deposits that are used as collateral for loan. This set of deposits are also not insured. And like we said, the insured amount is just 5 million. That is what is insured, which means we don't need to wait to realize the assets to be able to pay. No, we pay you immediately from the deposit insurance fund, which we have built over the years through annual assessment of premium that was paid by these banks. So that is what it is. Somebody was asking whether this revocation is not politically motivated. You see, I don't speak for CBN, but I want to say that as regulators, as supervisors, we are professional in what we do, and we are not politicians, or rather our actions are not influenced by politicians, but purely professional decisions that are taken. The moment a regulator begins to dance to political influence that is followed for the system. So it's purely regulatory action, and the CBN has given ample reason why they revoke the license, which I think is quite convincing. And there's no need for anybody to start insinuating that there's a political move behind it. I'm not speaking for CBN, but it's just a general comment that I want to make. That's a decision that is purely on the professional basis. And they are giving a reason. What's going to those few questions before you take additional ones? Okay, from the military leadership. Yes, like I said, you see, the essence of verification is for customers to come forward to identify themselves so that we can look at the mandates that is with the bank to make sure he is the one, and for him to give us account where we are going to pay him the insured amount. So, but with BVN, we can actually use it to scan the system and say, okay, you have an account in Bank X. So you really don't need to come, because the BVN has only a biometrics to say that you are the one. And if that account is linked to that BVN and another account, we have no doubt that you are the same person. So that's why we say you don't need to go through that hassle to come forward for verification. Mind you, I said there are about 2.3 million account holders. So imagine if all of them are going to now queue up so that they get themselves verified. It's going to be tedious, strenuous on the part of the depositors and also on the part of NDIC that are carrying the exercise. So thank God that we have this facility and we are leveraging on it. But for customers who have only account with Heritage, they really need to come forward to tell us that, okay, this is where you are going to pay my insured amount so that we can pay it. That is the essence of that. And for the creditors, they also need to file that claim, because it's possible maybe that obligation is not in the records of the bank. So they need to come and file so that we can verify. It's possible maybe the person has rendered service to the bank and the bank has not paid it. You understand, where it's in contention. So you need to come forward and say, look, this is the service I've rendered to the bank and the bank has not paid it, and this is what it is. Then we could now cross-check with the records of the bank. If we are satisfied, we note it. So that when we get to the point where we are now paying creditors, then we now settle that claim. Financial Nigeria Attention Index, you said what assurance do we have that there will be no similar recordings of this in the future? Well, that is why we have the supervisors and regulators within the system. And you will agree with me that banking business is the most regulated development. And the essence of this is to, guard against failure. But mind you, banking is a business just like any other business. But regulators are there to make sure that cases like this are avoided. You understand? In the past, you understand, we have had similar failures, but they have been addressed. The most important thing is to make sure that depositors do not lose their money. You understand? So even the creditors, they don't lose their money. You understand? That is why we need to now be able to pursue to make sure that we recover and we pay all the claimants, starting with depositors and eventually creditors and even the shareholders that are surplus. And Mr. Ndula is asking that the central bank said the revocation was because of the inability of the bank to improve its financial performance. That's what is stated in the press release that was issued. The central bank has issued a prudential guideline which states the minimum prudential requirements for various items, for various parameters, be it capital, be it liquidity, be it earnings, and things like that. So when you say a bank has not improved its financial performance, indirectly what you are saying is that it has not measured up to those prudential parameters. And that is why, in its own judgment, the judgment of the central bank, that allowed it to continue is inimical to financial system stability, and that's how they invoke the license. And in order to ensure orderliness within the system, they handed it over to NDIC as liquidator to continue the liquidation process so that we can, orderly remove it from the system and pay the claimants accordingly.
Yes, I think we have four
very important questions. There's no way we can avoid litigation in this process. And I want to assure you that NDIC is ready for that. And that is why during this process of closure, we try as much as possible to gather documents, evidence that will tender in court. And we have been engaging the Judiciary for their support. What support do we need from the Judiciary? When cases relating to debt recovery or liquidation generally are brought before them, what we need, the support we need from them is expedited hearing. Let them give it accelerated hearing so that justice can be served. We have been engaging with them and pleading with them that, look, give these cases accelerated hearing and understand that when we bring a debt recovery case before any court, what we are trying to say, this person has borrowed from the bank, and we establish our case, and we want it to be given accelerated hearing so that justice is served. When money is recovered, it's not coming to NDIC, we are only collecting to pay depositors. It's not our money, it's the depositors' money. So if cases are delayed, it is the depositors that suffer, and they quite appreciate that. And we believe that when such cases are brought for them, they will give them accelerated hearing as we solicited from them. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you for coming. I believe you carry the message so that you educate the depositors. We're here for them to assure them that we are doing everything possible to protect them. And for other banks, the central bank has issued a press release yesterday that the other banks are safe and sound, and they are proceeding with their recapitalization plan, and they are reviewing it. There is no need for panic within the system. The system is safe and sound. People should go about their normal banking business. Discard rumors. This engagement is meant to bridge the communication gap, so that we can carry the message. People should remain calm, continue their banking business. The system is safe and sound. Once again, on behalf of the management of NDIC,